Dave, what do you make of the NFL's claim that they didn't see the video until it was released by TMZ?
People should understand that the National Football League has an entire security operation that's populated by people who used to work for the Secret Service of the United States. So that's considered the plum job when you're done with the Secret Service. So then you have to ask yourself a question. Either the former Secret Service officers who work for the National Football League decided that they were not going to pursue this videotape, so the NFL had plausible deniability, and they could sweep this case under the rug like they always do with issues of domestic violence, or the NFL saw it and they're lying. And I would actually bend towards the latter. I find that it strains credulity to think that the NFL did not see the videotape. But either way, the NFL has handled this horribly from the very beginning. The first time Roger Goodell met with Janae Rice, he met with her right next to Ray Rice. They came together to his office to plead for his job and to speak about what happened. Think about that for a second. That goes against every possible practice that people who deal with domestic violence talk about. The idea that the perpetrator and the person who is victimized sit side by side and beg for their economic life in front of a boss figure or an authority figure. I mean, it's absolutely repellent, and it says something about how the NFL, how they think about women, and how they think about the issue of domestic violence.
The Baltimore Ravens tweeted in May, quote, Janae Rice says she deeply regrets the role that she played the night of the incident. That tweet has since been deleted.
Yes, that tweet was deleted, Amy, yesterday. That's when it was deleted. They kept that up on their website for this entire period. The Ravens also staged a press conference where Janae Rice and Ray Rice sat next to each other so Janae Rice could take, quote unquote, her responsibility for what took place. I mean, so much of this was stage managed by the Baltimore Ravens to make Ray Rice look as good as possible and to make the team look as supportive of him as possible. Once again, though, this is not the Baltimore Ravens in a vacuum. This is how the NFL league-wide deals with domestic violence. A player for the San Francisco 49ers named Ray McDonald was arrested after his pregnant fiancée was found with bruises on her body after a party, and she called the police. Ray McDonald still played this past weekend despite those charges against him. Why did he play? Because he was not caught on videotape. If he was, he probably would not have been playing. So once again, this is about a National Football League that treats violence against women as a public relations crisis, not as a crisis about the ways in which the violence of the game spills over into people's families.
Dave, this is NFL insider Adam Schefter speaking to ESPN Monday night, reacting to the video showing Ray Rice knock his wife unconscious.
This is arguably the biggest black eye the league has ever had. We heard Pete Rozelle talk in the days after and the years after JFK was assassinated that his biggest regret was playing games the Sunday after the President of the United States was assassinated. Roger Goodell will look back on his time as the commissioner of the NFL and say this is easily the biggest regret.
That's Adam Schefter speaking Monday, Adam Schefter of ESPN. I have to point out that after Ray Rice was suspended for 2 games initially, Schefter said on the air, it's a suspension that will get a lot of discussion. Was the commissioner lenient enough, Dave Zirin?
Oh. Look, I think that is a shameful phrase by Adam Schefter. I don't know if Democracy Now! Listeners may realize that Adam Schefter is considered the ultimate NFL insider, incredibly high profile. He's clearly very upset that he was lied to about the NFL throughout this whole process about what they knew and when they knew it, and he's responding sounding more like Keith Olbermann than Adam Schefter. But that being said, to call this, quote-unquote, the biggest black eye in NFL history, unfortunate phrasing aside for a domestic violence incident, it's really shameful for him to say that because the NFL has a history of horrific moments of violence against women, cases of serial rape, cases of murder. I mean, just 2 years ago, a player for the Kansas City Chiefs killed the mother of his child, Cassandra Perkins, and then took his own life in front of his coach in the parking lot of the stadium. Yet that's not the biggest black eye in NFL history. So what makes this in Adam Schefter's eye so much worse? It's because it was caught on on videotape, and it is a public relations crisis for the National Football League. As long as we look at this through the lens of public relations, we're never going to get to the bottom of this issue, which is how do you deal with the fact that you have an incredibly violent game that causes head injuries, that causes all kinds of financial pressure on families that tend to come from poverty, and then how do you deal with it when that violence spills over into the personal lives and families of players? The NFL for decades has treated it as something that you push under the rug. Yet in an era where everybody has phones, everything is digital, video cameras everywhere, that is much, much more difficult to do.